Hi there, good morning. It's Thursday morning. Welcome to Blessings on the Beach. I'm Sharon Taylor, and I serve as pastor at St. Peter Lutheran Church, Fort Myers Beach, Florida. And we host Tuesday and Thursday devotions for you to begin your day, a way to just kind of center yourself and take time for reflection and prayer. So I usually choose a word for the day that can kind of be your intention or something to reflect upon. And the word for today is suffering. And I know that suffering is a negative term, and we have been really choosing positive, uplifting terms. But this reading by Father Richard Rohr really does have us think about how suffering has other meaning within it and how suffering is part of life and can be important for our growth and spiritual transformation. So I'm reading from Yes and by Richard Rohr. What is suffering? Pain teaches a most counterintuitive thing, that we must go down before we even know what is up. In terms of the ego, most religions teach in some way that all of us must die before we die, and then we will not be afraid of dying. Suffering of some sort seems to be the only thing strong enough to destabilize our arrogance and our ignorance. I would define suffering very simply as whenever you are not in control. If religion cannot find a meaning for human suffering, humanity is in major trouble. All healthy religion shows you what to do with your pain. Great religion shows you what to do with the absurd, the tragic, the nonsensical, the unjust. And then in italics he has, if we do not transform this pain, we will most assuredly transmit it to others, and it will slowly destroy us in one way or another. If there isn't some way to find some deeper meaning to our suffering, to find that God is somewhere in it and can even use it for good, we will normally close up and close down. The natural movement of the ego is to protect itself so as not to hurt again. The soul does not need answers, it just wants meaning, and then it can live. Surprisingly, suffering itself often brings deep meaning to the surface to those who are suffering, and also to those who love them. That quote in italics, I think he got that from another person, and I'm not sure who quoted that, but I've heard it before, that if you don't transform your pain, you transmit it to others. That there's a quote about that the really truly mature person, I guess, is spiritually mature person is the one that can deal with their pain and not seep it onto others and not have everybody else feel that pain as well. And so we all have talked about why suffering, why does God allow suffering? Why is there suffering in the world? And this is just a way for us to see that suffering can lead to growth and to spiritual maturity or to transformation in our lives. And that whole idea of going down before we can go up, or going down before we even know what up is. And really, that's Jesus. Jesus was saying you have to lose your life in order to gain your life. And he's not just talking about physical death, he's talking about losing that false self, that ego self, and going deeper down into who you are at the core and what God has created you to be. So, just a little word for you. It might be a tougher word today, but a little bit of thinking about how do we find meaning in suffering, what we would say is suffering, and how does that finding meaning give our soul nourishment and give our soul an opportunity to grow. So I hope that will be helpful for you today. And I hope that you'll join me on Saturday morning at 9:30 when we live stream our worship. And that is St. Peter, and we worship at Peace Lutheran Church, our temporary home in Iona section of Fort Myers. And so hope that you'll join us for that. You can watch that on our YouTube channel at any time. Thanks so much, and I hope you'll join me on Tuesday. Have a blessed day. Thanks.